today's market, I think we got a good deal.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. Alright, let's go live. How's it going? Let me turn up a little beat. How is everyone's Friday doing? So, I have teased that on Twitter. I have said that I'm going to, probably not this week, but I will be taking a -8. I'll either start it now and then take a -8 next week, or I'll roll the transfer and I'll take a -8 next game week. But I think a -8 is coming, and I will be showing you the plan and showing you why I'll be taking yet another hit. Before we get into the hellos and everything, let's just have a quick look how many hits I've taken. God, is it even possible to figure out how many hits I've taken? Look at that, look at those. Oh, there you go, TC, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 34, 15, 16, 17, 9, 20, 28 points I've taken in hits, guys, so far this season. And then we're looking like another 8-pointer next one as well. For me, I started the season terribly at 3.5 million, and now I've worked myself back up to 3.5 million. It has been horrendous, absolutely horrendous. As I was just counting up my points there. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I'll just do some hellos in the chat. So Boona, Krista, welcome. Nice to see you guys in here, and FPL Lounge as well. Llama in the house. Neil, welcome back, buddy. What are you going to do with Zaha? Have you kept him? Did you keep the faith, the man who had Zaha all season? Hey John, welcome back as well. And Epic Sounds as well. Oh my God, Watkins, Concert, and Wilson. So on the agenda today, you can see Villa Newcastle plans, Man City turn around. Is this the time to get them in? I did mention this last week, of course. Fernandes essential question marks. On the channel, I have one video in my entire history of saying why. It was going to be a series, why is X essential? And I only ever did one player, because I only ever felt one player at that point last season was essential, and that was Bruno Fernandes. Is he essential yet again? Obviously, it's a cursed word inside the community, but it's one that I want to discuss with you guys, because pre-season he was in that sticky area. You know, he was more expensive than the likes of Son and Ziyech and Havertz, who was popular pre-season, and people like Timo Werner and around Jamie Vardy's price as well, more expensive. And a little bit more would get you De Bruyne or Sterling. So he was always in that awkward place, but he is he's delivering the goods, isn't he? London derby, so we've got Arsenal obviously playing against Tottenham Hotspur, who should have, I think, some fans back in the stadium, is that right? And when to jump off players. That'll be a segment where I want you guys to give your suggestions about when do you think is the right time to jump off players. So you have players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for example. ridiculously highly owned. He is 61.6%. Do you keep holding because he's cheap? But then you've got the likes of Heung-min Son. He's 57.3%. When is the best time to jump off these players? So that's going to be my discussion point with you guys today. Half century coming up. Wild. Absolutely. Whom to start, Johnson or McCarthy? Good question. I just can't trust West Brom. And I know they're against Crystal Palace, who are not the best in an attacking sense. He can get save points, but is he going to get save points against them? I also don't trust Southampton against Brighton. I'd probably go Johnston. Planning any transfers? Yep, I'll let you know. I did mention it right at the start about me probably taking a -8. Probably next week. Captain KDB, and now you're going for Lewin versus that Burnley defence. Oh, you see oh, wow. So you're not going to go for Kevin De Bruyne at home to Fulham. Bold. You've got triple Villa. Oh, Neil. Neil. If Barkley wasn't injured, I'd be triple Villa right now. Because I took Barkley out before. Now is the time to sell Lewin and get Bamford. I don't know. It's not even that I've had Dominic Calvert-Lewin all season. It just feels like I still think he's worth his money. He's worth his point. Like Bamford's got a couple of game weeks. I know his XG is like the best in Europe or something ridiculous, and I know that Bamford gets a lot of chances. But yeah, he just I'm still not leaning that way at the moment. Because he gets blanks or he gets 18 points, right? There's sort of no in between at the minute with him. You sold Bruno, just one of those moves that makes sense at the time. Now you regret it. Oh, Krista, we'll not be doing that. What to do with Sterling? Plan was to swap to Salah after Fulham, but you're not too sure. You could bring that forward, I guess, Otto. The problem that I've got a very similar, but not as... So this is how my team is looking right now. Obviously... ignore Grealish in there because this was made pre-Grealish. So actually coming off here right now, I'd be in a 4-4-2 and it would be Lamptey coming on there. I am tempted to maybe give Brewster a start. Sheffield United need to start doing something. But yeah, the minute that's what's going to happen. Obviously no goalkeeper at the moment as well. Now, I've got the issue with Cancelo. It's the idea that is he going to play? Cancelo at 5.6 million, 5.5 million. I can afford for him to get subbed out for Lamptey or Taylor, right? But in a game week where Man City have a very good game at home against Fulham, and Sterling has a massive question mark, it's just like 11.5 million? Has he gone down yet? Let's just double check this. 11.4 million, so he has gone down. 11.4 million as a maybe player, just massive puts me off. But you're in that horrible position, Otto, where if you do get rid of him, he could go absolutely crazy and be a massive differential. Because he's only 4.3% owned. So it would annoy you if you took him out and he did really well, but it wouldn't hurt your rank that much because he's so lowly owned. Any news about Villa Newcastle is just off at the minute, and a lot of the people who are smarter than I am have said that it's impossible, or pretty much impossible, that Newcastle will come back for this game week. Bamford is high on your radar of your strikers. Yeah, he is high on mine. He is, especially with the run that they're going to have. I will talk about my -8 plan coming up soon, and I think it's going to be like Marmite, guys. It's going to be love or hate. I think people are going to think, oh, that's bold. That's what a move that is. Very few of you are going to be thinking that, okay? But some of you might think, you know, it's an awful move. What am I doing? But yeah, we'll see. Stop putting Souček in your team. Put Lamptey in. No, because Man United concede for set pieces. And Lamptey against Southampton, Brighton aren't going to keep a clean sheet. Come on, let's be honest. You're probably going to win. And also, they're going to all play anyway because Grealish isn't going to play. So Lamptey is going to play, but not instead of Souček, but with Souček. Probably going with no goalkeeper this week. Yeah, we'll come on to that in a sec. Cancelo is a headache, but you feel you need to keep. And that's why I'm thinking of not making my -8 moves this week. Roll my transfer over to have 2 free transfers next game week and do my -8 then. Hey Penguin, how's it going, buddy? Welcome back. Tanzid, you've got 1 free transfer, you have a bench for Grealish. Should you transfer Cancelo out for Mendy? You've got Chilwell, Justin, Target, Kufal in the squad. The problem that I personally would have in taking Cancelo out for Mendy is either one, rotation, right? You don't really know who's nailed on. Is it going to be Cancelo? Is it going to be Mendy? Is Zinchenko going to have a run out? And 2, it's probably only a matter of time before Mendy has an injury problem. And with the Christmas schedule in, 3 weeks, and they've got games every 3 days, do you think Mendy's going to be strong enough and fit enough to play all those matches? But he's constantly injured. No, is my answer. You got rid of Zaha for KDB. Oh, right, yeah, good, you did that in the end. Defo dodged a bullet. Yeah, it just makes sense because he's so nailed on. He's so nailed on, Kevin De Bruyne. He was last season, and it's Kevin De Bruyne and Ederson who are basically like the only nailed on people. You've got Kevin De Bruyne and Vardy, and everyone else seeming to be going for Kevin De Bruyne. Vardy again. I've already said a lot of people. And now, this week, the ones who said last week, oh, I'm not going to get Jamie Vardy in because it's only for Fulham. And I'm like, well, no, he's got Sheffield United, bottom of the table, worst start in Premier League history, next week. A team that he actually hates and wants to do really well against. And now, but people are like, oh, it's only Fulham, it's only 1 game. And now, this week's content's come out and it's like, oh, Jamie Vardy, and what an option he is this week. Winds me up. Vardy is a great captaincy option, and I think he's my vice captain. I have KDB and Vardy with everyone. Oh, I just read that. Duh. Then who should you change Cancelo to? Any suggestion? Tanzit, there are so many options. I can't sit here and just list every player better than him because there's a lot probably better than Cancelo or even around his price. All right. What I'll do first then is I'll jump in and I'll show you the moves that I'm going to make, probably next game week. So this is how I'm looking right now. If we just have a quick look here. So Martinez is not going to start. We'll tackle the first question first then. Might as well do it in order. First question then, what are we doing about Newcastle and Aston Villa? For me personally, I'm not changing my goalkeeper. There's a couple of reasons why. 1, I've got value tied up in any way, and I'm fine with Martinez. 2, using a free transfer or even for a hit, taking out a goalkeeper for say a -4 when they're probably going to only get you 2 points anyway feels like it's not worth it. It's not worth a transfer. It's not worth the 2 points. Of course, it could be 12 points for a goalkeeper, but how many times does a goalkeeper get 12 points? Not often. And 2, Martinez is going to have 2 double game weeks. Right? Because Aston Villa already owe 1 double game week from game week 1, and now they owe another double game week. That double game week is going to come, say, both double game weeks will come in around the next 7 to 8 game weeks, which is quite a long way away. Maybe you want to play a second wildcard before that happens. But why am I going to take out a goalkeeper I've got value tied up in just to maybe bring him back again in the future because they're going to have double game weeks? If I just hold Grealish and hold Martinez, I've got 2 players in my squad. Well, Grealish is fantastic. He's not going anywhere. I've got a lot of value tied up in him as well, but I don't want him to go anywhere. Why am I going to transfer out 2 players that are going to have 2 double game weeks in like the next 10 weeks? Because their future transfers waiting to happen, because in the next 5 to 10 game weeks, everyone's going to be transferring in Martinez, Grealish, maybe even Barkley, Watkins. Right? So it just feels silly to take out players that I'm penciling in 5 weeks down the line. I'm going to bring them in. So personally, I'm going to do that. If you've got so many, say you've got 3 Villa and 2 Newcastle, and I know it's not ideal, and I know it's not a good thing, but I genuinely would be tempted with a free hit. And that is purely if I could not get like 8 players out on the pitch. If you've got like 8 or 9 players out on the pitch, then I understand. I am by no means suggesting a free hit like easily. Like, I'm not saying, oh, you've got no subs, go play your free hit. I'm talking like, you've got triple Villa, you've got triple Newcastle, and on your bench you've got like Mitchell, players that basically a non-playing bench. If you've got so you look at my bench: Lamptey, Taylor, Brewster. Lamptey, Taylor play. Brewster might get about 45 minutes. So if that was my case, I won't take a free hit. But if you're looking at your bench and you've got nothing on your bench and you're losing 3 or 4 first-team players, then I would consider either hits or a free hit. So that would be my suggestion for the plan there. Because I think the good players, if you've got a Kevin De Bruyne and you captain him and they do all right, you've got a couple of good players in there with some good fixtures, I think it'll cover you. I just would not be taking transfers or hits for a game week, basically. It just, especially for a team like Aston Villa, who's going to have 2 double game weeks. So it just seems a bit silly. Think it wrong for you to go Watkins to bat for this week? You would go, let's play transfer. And yeah, just roll it. I would roll it. Will Zaha start against West Brom? Oh, God. Like, if he's fit and healthy, yes. 100%. Ferguson's returned, going to have a full playing bench. Not necessarily. Hey, Pillowcase, how you doing, buddy? You'll be playing Basuma, very confident he's going to hit a screamer. I wish I could go into game weeks with that level of confidence. So, having a look at my team, I did mention this in the video, and I think I mentioned this last week. If my defense plays, I'm really happy. Like, Cancelo is a great player, a great FPL asset if he's playing. Robertson, of course, we know how good Robertson is. James as well, if he plays, that is a tasty backline. Unfortunately, it's a backline that is not nailed. Going into my midfield, Son, top goal scorer. Spurs might arguably have difficult fixtures, but I still think Son is a fantastic option. Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes, don't need to talk about them. Jack Grealish, I know he's not playing this week, but he's a fantastic asset as well. Souček, we'll move on. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jamie Vardy up front, I think is a pretty solid front line. So, what am I going to do? Let me show you very, very quickly. So, it's probably going to be, this game week is going to be no transfers, or I have a 4-player plan that I want to bring in. 4 players that I want to bring into my FPL side. And I'm either going to do 1 transfer this week, and then the other 3 next game week, or I'm just going to wait this game week and do all 4 next game week. Okay? And it's really simple. It's going to be Jamie Vardy out. It's going to be Souček out. It's going to be Robbo out. It's going to be Cancelo out. It's going to be a pretty cheap backline, but one that I actually have a lot of faith in. Eric Dyer coming in at the back alongside the mighty 4.4 million Balbuena. Only 1.7% owned. He's got United, so I'm not keen to bring him on this week. Leeds, Palace, Chelsea, Brighton, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Burnley. He's playing 90 minutes since game week 3. Now, my other choice here would be Balbuena to Lewis at Newcastle, and then Dyer to a 5 million defender. That is a possibility as well. Finally, coming into the team would be the one, the only, Mohamed Salah. The first time I will have owned him this season. Of course, in the idea that I'm going to captain him against Fulham next game week. But here's the thing, guys. The triple captaincy chip might come out next game week, and I'll explain why. I'm going to finish this off. 6.5 million. If I just go here, it would be the man again, coming back in, Callum Wilson. Would probably come back into the side. You can see West Brom in 12, Leeds in 13, Fulham in 14, Sticky Patch from 15. That's when I can change him to maybe Bamford or change him to Antonio. I'm in a 3-way right now. As my striker, it's probably going to be Wilson, but I am looking at Bamford and I am looking at Antonio at West Ham. But look at those 3 fixtures. Plus, he's going to have a double game week. He's going to play against Aston Villa in a double game week, probably around week 17, week 18. Unfortunately, that's after this tough run. But bring him in for these 3 games. West Brom, Leeds, Fulham. And that would be it. That's the next game week. This would be the 8-point hit. So what do you guys think about that? Look at that midfield. Look at it. Look at that midfield. Grealish, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son and Salah. It's because I've got good... Now, I've had an awful season, right? I'm 3.5 million in the world. But I have good team value. And I've got a lot of these players that I don't have to buy because I've had them for a long time. So James, I've had a long time. Martinez, I got before he rose. Grealish, I got before he rose. The likes of De Bruyne and Fernandes and Son, had them before. I've had him for a while. So Son, now because he's 9.5, I've had him since I think 9.1 or 9. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I've had all season, so he's 7.9. I've had him since he was 7. Started the season at 7, is that right? Just double check. Yep, started the season at 7. So yeah, this is how I'm looking. And there's just a couple of little tweaks, like I said. So Balbuena could go to Lewis, and then I can look at some 5 million. Or if Wilson actually goes to Bamford, then I can, you know, get an even better defender if I need to. I just prefer Wilson, but if and Dyer is absolutely nailed on at Spurs, who are looking at the top. He's only 4.9 million, which I think is great value. He'll be playing Crystal Palace next week. Then he's got Liverpool, Leicester, which isn't ideal. Wolves don't have a striker. Maybe Raul Jimenez is back by then, but then Fulham, Leeds, Villa, Sheffield. I think that's a decent one. How about not getting a non-playing defender? Because I might do my bench boost before my next wild card. I don't want to sacrifice a playing bench just for the sake of 0.3 or 0.4 million. I don't think it's worth it. Pulisic likes the team, and also that 5-man midfield, and you know the likes of Calvert-Lewin is absolutely nailed on talisman at Everton. Wilson is the nailed on penalty taking talisman at Newcastle. I don't even have to talk about that midfield. I mean that midfield is ridiculous. James, if he plays, is fantastic. Eric Dyer, Balbuena, Taylor, Lamptey. That is where my issue obviously is. But like I said, if I just, I don't know what it is. It's something in my head that's just like, I don't rate Bamford. But if I did rate Bamford just a little bit, I could go Dyer to a 5.3. Is that worth it? Cresswell, not Mings, not Bellerin. Not Bonga's the same price as Eric Dyer. I'd rather go Eric Dyer. Yeah. If I just went Eric Dyer and I just went Callum Wilson. And Wilson is the 3rd best striker in FPL right now. It just feels right. You went for Gordon on your wildcard and wrote off the last spot on the bench. You're slightly regretting it. If you had Basuma, you could play. And that's it, right? Playing with... You should just... For me, Eric Dyer and Reece James will probably be the 2 players that play every week. And then I can rotate Balbuena, Taylor, and Lamptey. If I make one of them a 3.8, it limits my options. And then if James gets rotated out, I'm forced to play Taylor, or I'm forced to play Balbuena, or I'm forced to play Lamptey. I won't have that choice. I just think my whole squad plays except Forster, right? Which obviously isn't ideal, but I don't want to waste any money on my bench. You could argue I'm wasting money on my bench, but I wouldn't be because these guys would be rotating. So you can see game week 12 and 13, Balbuena probably plays. He's got Leeds, Crystal Palace. Game week 14 away at Chelsea, he probably rests. Game week 14, I've got Wolves as an option here, or I've got Sheffield United as an option here. Obviously, I'm going to go for Lamptey on that one. So I would, for me, having a non-playing bench, no. Just at least get the cheapest player to play. And I did mention before, I just feel as though, and this is the funny thing, because was it 2 or 3 weeks ago when I did the stream about the formations, right? So the top 10 managers in the world right now in FPL have played 3-4-3 for like the whole season, bar auto sub into another formation. And I argued a couple of weeks ago that I think going forward, the best formation is going to be 3-5-2. And I'm going to back myself with that by doing this team next week. And it just so happens to be that I think a lot of people are starting to lean now towards 3-5-2 being a great option. Hey James, how you doing, buddy? Suggestion for managers like me who have all the cards remaining when he's holding on to them too much. I have mine remaining as well, except my wild card. Honestly, Krista, it's just play it when you think it's right. Like, if your team is absolutely screwed, then that's when you play your wild card. Or if you want to get ahead of the curve, that's when you play your wild card as well. I'd always have to say bench boost, free hit, triple captains, you save them for double game weeks. And it's difficult because they're burning holes in your pockets and you want to play them, right? But I'd be lying if I said the best time to use those chips is during a double game week. You can get Mahrez as a KDB and it will allow you to have more budget for the rest of the team. But Blues, I don't need the budget for the rest of my team. I don't need it. I'm not interested in any defenders. I've had Robertson and Trent for most of the season. I'm done. I want to enjoy FPL and I don't want to go with defenders. I just don't. I don't want any money in my defense. And in the future, if the likes of Son goes out of form or stops scoring good goals or whatever, or De Bruyne gets injured or Salah gets injured or whatever, I'll just take one of them out and I'll use that money instead. Really, no Chilwell? You can't have them all, can you? Like, I can't have Chilwell. I've got Robertson. So yes, really no Chilwell. But I mean, okay, I've got no Kurt Zouma. If I had Kurt Zouma all season, I'd have more points than Chilwell, right? So, difficult to say. Chilwell, of course, is a fantastic option. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not. I think Chelsea have been flattered a little bit by how many clean sheets they've kept so far this season. But time will tell. But I don't want to play FPL and have my points in my defence. I want to watch football matches and want goals to happen, not bite my nails for 90 minutes. So, yeah. Not sure on Charleston, knocking Iverson's fixtures. I did warn you about that double up, Neil. Not something I would have done. So one comment I did say earlier, I did say that next week, likely Mo Salah will come into the side, and I am contemplating playing my triple captain chip. 2 reasons. Oh, maybe more reasons why, but here's why. First, helps to cover my -8 loss. Not a good, particularly valid reason to do it, but a triple captain, if they get a goal or two returns, that'll pay off my debt to the hit men. The other reason, Salah is at home to Fulham. Of course, I think that Mo Salah at home to a newly promoted side, he did against Leeds, he did against Norwich last season, he does it all the time. It's Mo Salah, right? So a triple captain Mo Salah at home to Fulham is not a terrible idea. And the next reason why is because it seems as though the amount of double game weeks and blank game weeks we've got this season is going to be less than normal. That we use our free hit in a blank game week and we use our bench boost in a double game week. So when am I going to use my triple captain chip? Like, I'm only going to use my triple captain chip when maybe Grealish has his double game week. But do I want to put a triple captain on Jack Grealish? If I had more courage, then yeah, maybe I would. But I played my triple captain in game week 1 last year. I've had, just like a lot of people, you can plan for double game week triple captaincy chips. You can plan for anything that you want in FPL and it'll just come back and bite you. How many people got bitten by the likes of Mane and Sane and all of that lot in the last few years? I got bit by Sane. So game week 1 last year, I was like, right, I'm going to get off to a flyer in FPL. I'm going to triple captain Mo Salah game week 1. I did. And of course he got like 3 attacking returns, I think, at home to Norwich in that first game. People play the captain chip on Mane and they get 3 points. So it's tough, right? So I just feel as though Salah's at home. I'm taking a -8 hit, so it helps me to recuperate some of those points. And I don't necessarily think maybe this year triple captain for your double game week is going to work, because blank game week is your free hit, double game week is your bench boost. When are you going to play it? Not keen on Everton fixtures, but details staying put. Same for me. Absolutely same for me. Had him all season. He's nailed on. Talisman. He's goal hanging. That's his job, to goal hang. He's an FPL manager's dream, right? Burnley, of course, he can go get something there. Chelsea's not easy. Leicester be conceding goals. Arsenal are just... there's just nothing. They're like a husk right now. And Sheffield United at bottom of the table, we talked about them earlier, absolutely terrible. So, I think if he gets, say, 2 goals in the next 5 games, I don't think that's a bad return for a player I pay 7 million for. In my opinion, anyway. I mean, if you've gone out and paid 7.8 million for him, he might get on your nerves a little bit more. I think Ziyech is your transfer out. Do you know what's so funny? I still remember the comment that I had on a video a couple of weeks ago. It was literally just after Ziyech banged, right? Telling me, like, captaincy option. And it still riles me. It's living in my head rent-free, okay? Telling me that I'd made a comment saying, like, captaincy is the most important thing that you choose in a game week because it's double the points. And he was like, that's not the reason for your poor rank. It's because of poor decisions. And, if you've got 3 players that get double digits and then the rest get like 6 points, then it doesn't matter where your captain is. I was like, last game week, I got 10 from Bruno. I got 10 from Kevin De Bruyne. I got 10 from Grealish. And then because my captain only got an assist, I still ended up normal. I still ended up game week average normal. Right? So the fact that if I'd have just put my captains in Kevin De Bruyne or Bruno Fernandes or Jack Grealish, I would have jumped up the ranks last week. It still roused me. Absolutely roused me. And he said, like, why? And he was telling people, I think Neil, wasn't he, told you? Because you were going to bring in Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling. I'm pretty sure it was you. In another comment. And he was like, oh, you're so stupid, you should bring in Ziyech. And he's blanked ever since. You've got Taylor, Grealish, and Watkins. Your bench is Kufal. That's good. Kilman, Brewster. Oh, that's all right. Thinking of swapping Ziyech and Taylor for Kilman and Jota. Huh? Ziyech and Taylor or Kilman. Oh, okay, or Kilman. To Jota and James for -4. That's a good one. That's a good one, that James. I would get rid of Kilman before Taylor because Taylor still plays, but Kilman's maybe dropped. And -4. Jota's very attractive right now. That must be Reece James, I imagine, at Chelsea. Obviously in very good form as well. Ziyech could still hurt you, though. That's my only issue. I'd still keep Taylor on my bench. That's difficult. I possibly would do that. Why not captain Vardy? Great point. I captained him last week. I just don't think Leicester have the form, and I cannot ignore Fulham at home. And I thought last week I was being differential by choosing Vardy as my captain, and he was the most captain person in FPL. Kevin De Bruyne wasn't even on the top 5 list. So I'm going for Kevin De Bruyne. You're not sure... Oh, Duncan Duffy, yes, in the double game week. Yeah, Brighton. God. Oh, Target, not Taylor. Oh, right. Then no, we talked about keeping Villa assets, to be honest, because they're going to have 2 double game weeks. Oh, thanks, Hardship. Yeah, I always forget about likes and stuff. I'm not bothered. The Grosjean accident, yes. I did watch that. That was horrible. We had Raul Jimenez getting his head cracked and Grosjean crashing into the barrier. It was horrible last week. Is Jota definitely going to start tomorrow? And that's the thing, Neil. Who knows? Is he some kind of cover for Salah? No. Hey, Samuel, how you doing, buddy? Probably already covered it, but assuming risking Cancelo this week, you have the same issue. Okay, so good. I did earlier show about the -12. Cancelo, Robertson, Vardy, and Souček will go out. Eric Dyer, Balbuena, Salah, and Wilson will come in. I am going to risk Cancelo this week. This basically means I hope to God Robertson plays. Cancelo doesn't play, Grealish doesn't play, Lamberty and Taylor come off the bench. I'm fine with Taylor and I'm fine with Lamberty. So I am going to risk it because again, what I said earlier about Sterling, 11.4 million to risk and sit on your bench in such a good opportunity as Fulham, I'd hate it. I don't mind risking my 5.4 million defender. If he comes on for a point, he comes on for a point. All right, fine. I'll live with it. But I'd rather take that risk to see if he can get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points or whatever, than take him out for definitely wouldn't go to another defender unless I wanted to get Kyle Walker. But I mean, that's not an inspiring transfer, is it? Captaincy is so important, especially this season, since scores are really close each week. Got to trust reliable players like Solid. Yeah. Hey, Sunhashu, how you doing, buddy? And that was the thing that killed me. If I just have a quick check at my points, my defense. Look at that. James got me 6, Martinez 1, Robertson 2, Taylor comes in for a non-playing Cancelo for a 0. But my midfield, look at that. Souček, oh, that's a write-off. That's Souček. Son for a 3, that's annoying. 10, 10, 10. If I just put my captaincy anywhere else, I'm looking at probably 56 points. Or minus 4, so about 62 points plus. And that would have helped my rank a little bit more. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having such a power midfield next week. I think it's going to be hopefully pretty good. But then it might be the same issue where my 4 midfielders score me 10 points and then the rest of the players get me 1, which would make me very sad. So City turnaround, second on the agenda here. We talked about Villa, Newcastle, Manchester City. They're being weird. Now, do we see them beating Burnley 5-0 as an indicator that they are now a fully fledged, back to normal, the boys are back in town, Man City the way to go, get off Spurs, get on Man City, just go Son to Mahrez, let's all go over to Man City. Is this the turnaround for City, or is this just their annual 5-0 smashing of Burnley? So I actually think that tomorrow's game will be the teller to whether or not this is the Man City that's going to be back. Like, obviously they were really good against Burnley, but Burnley historically are awful against Manchester City. So it'd be interesting that if when we talked about them last time with the goals, so yeah, they put 5 obviously past Burnley, but they didn't score against Spurs, 1 against Liverpool, 1 against Sheffield, 1 against West Ham, 1 against Arsenal, 1 against Leeds. They've not scored 2 goals since game week 3, and they lost 5-2 in that game. So for me, it's going to be after Fulham whether or not, like, I'm not saying hold off, definitely would bring in at least 1 Man City attacking player. Kevin De Bruyne, or I wouldn't risk Raheem Sterling, probably would be Gabriel Jesus or Mahrez as well. But yeah, a lot of people are now saying, oh, well, this is it, Man City's back, get rid of everyone and just bring in Man City. Don't even get Mo Salah, let's just go with Man City. I don't know, I think that's risky. So our City back, for me, I've had Kevin De Bruyne a while. I'm happy with Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's just vanilla. Do you know what I mean? He's vanilla ice cream. He's milk ice cream. It's just like, oh, do I want to risk City? I'll tell you what, let's just get Kevin De Bruyne. He's a great player. The end. Right? So there's no risk there. He's great. But them as a team, I really don't know. Really don't know what's going too much on. Fernandes essential is the next one on my list. This is, I think, really, really difficult. Honestly, Bruno Fernandes. I like to bring out this one every now and again. That I got Bruno Fernandes in for his very first game. I had him for the back end of last season, and he is. I don't know how he does it. Now, if you guys watch Manchester United matches, right? At times they're in absolute shambles. It's unbelievable how bad they are. And Bruno Fernandes will still walk away with 12 points. And I don't know how he does it. I genuinely don't know how Bruno Fernandes does it. It's a game where United have been terrible, and for some reason he walks away with a lot of FPL points. It's absolutely amazing. He has had 23 appearances in the Premier League, and he's had 28 attacking returns. It's absolutely incredible. Like, we talk about Salah, we talk about De Bruyne, we talk about Vardy, but this guy has got more attacking returns than he has appearances in the Premier League. And you can say, Fernandes and penalties and diving and goals after the full time. It does not matter. He has the goals. He has the points. He's got 7 goals in 9 appearances this season. He had 8 goals in 14 appearances. Their striker record. If I told you our striker got 7 goals in 9 games and our striker got 8 goals in 14, just wow, that's a great striker. Look at all of those goals. And don't forget, he also got 10 assists. You'd think that's a great striker. What a striker that is. And he's not. And he's not even like Salah and Mane, where they're basically playing like left forward and right forward, right? He's centre attacking mid, like what De Bruyne does for Man City. It's absolutely incredible. He has 62% goal participation this season for Manchester United. 7 goals, 3 assists in 9 appearances. So even this season, he has more attacking returns than he has appearances in the Premier League. It's absolutely incredible. I mentioned earlier on in the season that earlier on in the stream that we looked at him before the season started and we thought he's in that horrible price bracket of, I think, was it 10.5 he started at? Yeah, 10.5. So he was in no man's land because he was just a little bit cheaper than Sterling and De Bruyne and Salah and Mane, and he was a little bit more expensive than the likes of like Son and Ziyech and Havertz and all of those players and everyone else obviously below him. But I just can't argue that people need him. And I think, honestly, if you think Salah or De Bruyne is the best, that's fine. But whoever you have, I genuinely think Bruno Fernandes would be the second best option. If you say, I cannot go without Mo Salah, is it Salah or De Bruyne? I think it genuinely should be Salah and Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandes if you can't get all 3. I'll have all 3 next week. But that's my, because the points are there. And we're talking about a Manchester United side that are rubbish sometimes. They're absolute comical. Some of the mistakes they make and some of the results that they get, but he still walks away with a ridiculous amount of points. This season, he's blanked 3 times. But he's got 5 double-digit hauls. Right? It just feels... and obviously he's completely nailed on. Like, there's absolute minimum chance of him even getting subbed in a game unless they're probably winning 5-0 and he's already got a hat-trick. So I just feel as though, is Fernandes essential? It's difficult to say no. It genuinely isn't. And I think right now he is the best option. He is the best option in FPL. In terms of Salah can be explosive, but he's a bit hit and miss at the minute. Kevin De Bruyne has had a slow start, but improving. But if I had to say, okay, you have 2 premium slots, you can argue Kevin De Bruyne or Salah are the best, but I think because of the money that you save, he's like 1.5 million cheaper than Salah. It just feels as though that whoever's first on your team sheet, Fernandes has to be second. So yeah, I would argue. I went full screen back, so I don't have it there. It can be other than Salah, but so yeah, and that's it, right? Actually, they're just like the boring, simple. I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna get Kevin De Bruyne and Salah. And that's not a terrible way to play. We well overthink playing this game sometimes. Mo Salah, score. Mo Salah, good. Get Mo Salah. Ah, yes, but the XG from the 30th percentile, if I compare him to other players in the 40-minute to 60-minute category, if I judge the speed of his arch of his run, then he wasn't... Nah, Mo Salah scored 2 goals, I'm getting Mo Salah. We well overthink this game sometimes. And that's the joy of it. So is the Villa game postponed to another round, or we can't get this round? Another round, Dylan. You've got 3 Aston Villa players. Hey, you can talk to Neil. Make up a plan. Giroud versus Cavani. If they both become starters, who would you choose? Cavani, because Giroud will always get rotated out. You agree Man City has been really weird this season? They have, haven't they? The plan this game week is to transfer in Mahrez. Good move. And Bamford. I like it. For Burke, great. And Kane. Kane against Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan. There's history there. I don't want you to regret that one. I mean, I would do it. I mean, that's a good move. Gives you money next week to bring in Salah for Sun. Yeah, good. I like that, Blues. Bench target, Grealish and Watkins, and risk. Kufal's not a risk. Kufal's nailed. Kilman's a risk. Brewster is probably going to get minutes. Save your transfer and wait for the double. Dunno, 50-50. Kufal against United isn't great. Kilman might not play. Bruiser's not good. It's difficult. I do feel sorry for people like me. I've got 2 Villa players, so yeah, feel sorry for me as well. Midfield is Grealish, Salah, Fernandes, Jota and Mahrez. Solid, like it, love it. My midfield will destroy it next week. But I could always, what I might do is, in the future, I might go Son to Jota. Save myself 3 million and, you know, spread the funds. Could always do that. Hold on to Aston Villa players because one of these double game weeks before for Christmas. Yep, Hardship, I said the same thing earlier, and they've got 2 double game weeks to have. Do you think it's okay to spend 4 points to transfer in De Bruyne and transfer out Werner and Zaha? Depends who's coming in with De Bruyne. I'm so happy I've got rid of Timo Werner. He can score a hat-trick tomorrow for all I care. He blanked last week. He was so annoying to own for like 10 games. Thank God. Zaha playing though. Crystal Palace against West Brom. And Werner against Leeds, who like concede a lot of opportunities. I would be a little bit anxious about that move. You sold him. I'm reciting everything about Bruno doesn't help you. I'm so sorry, Krista. I'm so surprised you took him out. And he's away from home, and he's got this ridiculous stigma that he scores. I say stigma, that's a negative thing, isn't it? The reputation of getting all of his points away from home, right? And he's away against West Ham, who can concede goals as well. It's going to be a 3-3 thriller, and Bruno's going to be involved in all 3 goals. Fernandes has an injury. Which Fernandes? Because that's with a Z. Odds on Sterling starting him for captain. Finn, I don't like those odds. If I were a gambling man, which on occasion I might be, I wouldn't make that bet. What am I doing with Aston Villa's player? Benching him. Do I think Kilman will play? No. Are you holding your transfer this week? Was a bit late today. Yes, I am holding it. It's either I hold it or Robertson or Cancelo go out for like Eric Dyer. So yeah. Hey Harry, how's it going, buddy? Let me just check in first. Current mid: Sterling, Son, Rashford, DCL, Vardy, and Sorry on top. Thinking of doing Rashford to Mahrez and hopping Mahrez and Sterling. Oh, hoping. I don't mind that, Matt. I like the risk. Thoughts on Jota over Salah? No way. Does not cover. And I know people who brought in Jota ages ago, but I feel it's points chasing. Like when they're all back fit and healthy and ready to go, if they keep playing like, if they keep playing all of them, Mane and Salah and Firmino and Jota, then I'd be looking to bring him in, and I'll probably bring him for Heung-min Son in a couple of weeks. But do I think Jota can cover Mo Salah, the guy who's come second in FPL, first in FPL, first in FPL? Was it all 3, or did he get another first in FPL? No. You can't cover the king. Took a -4 to get rid of Martinez for McCarthy and Bellerin out for James. Not happy with team, but feel I can't afford to take -8. Fair enough, Nicholas. Like, personally, getting rid of Arsenal, I'm all keen for that. We talked about Martinez earlier. He's going to have 2 double game weeks. And if you had money tied up in him, plus he's going to have 2 double game weeks, I'm just going to go no one in between the sticks. Jumpers for goalposts, no one in. Last man back can use his hands. It was for KDB. Alright, Chris, so then who else have you got? If you've got Bruno to KDB, who else in your team? During physics online class. Nice, Blues. Pay attention. I'm a teacher. Quiet at the back. Salah to Jota and Vardy to Fernandes. That's not possible. Salah to Jota, midfielder to midfielder. Vardy to Fernandes, striker to midfielder. Are you cheating, Epics? Nope, no backup keeper. No people playing. Robbo's going in goal for me. Smedo out for a -4 for Zuma. No. Smedo is not a particularly good player, and I also would not like to do it. I don't like -4 for defenders, and I don't like -4s for centre-backs. In order to get Salah, you have to sell either Son and Vardy, or KDB or Bruno. Or you just go... Harry, very simple. I've not had Mo Salah all season, and I'm 3.5 million in the world. So, think of all those wonderful times you've had Salah this season, all those beautiful captaincy moments, getting beat by Villa, still got a couple of goals, getting the hat-trick against Leeds game at 1, getting all the goals. What a wonderful time to be a Salah owner. Selling Son and Vardy. Vardy will go for me next game week. You didn't see earlier tips, but my midfield next week is going to be Son, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Salah, and Grealish. Vardy will go, Rob will go, Cancelo will go. For a -8 bonanza. Got a DM me on Twitter. Why? Harry, I'm 3.5 million. Like, what is the point? Like, I'm having. I've called formations. I've called. The funny thing is, my hits and my transfers have actually been good, which just goes to tell you how bad my original decisions and team must have been. And it's all because I was like, I'm only going to go off stats and formula this season. That's why I had Chris Wood in my side. Yeah, Chris Wood was in my team for an unbelievable amount of time. Now I'm back to playing my own way, taking hits. I'm going cheap at the back, and I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to have everyone being a striker. That's what I'm going to do because it's fun. And that's it. Like, the amount of times I had double Liverpool, I had Trent and Robbo at the back, and then they conceded a goal after 12 minutes. I'm just like, oh, for God's sake, great. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this game. When do you think Ings will be back, and is DCL to Ings when available a good idea? If you can afford it, yes. Actually, Hussentassel has said that he could be fit for Monday's game. So he could be playing this game week. So Ings is probably going to be back a lot sooner, next 1 or 2 game weeks. Do you think Neco Williams will play? I can't call it, bad man. I really can't. Because he makes some mistakes. You could sell Robbo, but you love his potential. Yeah, Harry, I've had Robbo all season, and I love him. He's a fantastic player, but let's be real with this Liverpool defence, right? Robbo's already got a knock. He's probably going to play. That's fine. Trent, out for months, right? Another month. Van Dijk all season. Gomez, unknown again. Okay, Milner and Fabinho and that comes back. It makes it nice and sure. Yes, against Fulham, it's a good option, but Spurs, there could be some clean sheets there. I mean, Alisson's even out. Like, I just look at defenders in the game. I look at 7.2 million there. For me, 7.1. And I just think, if I drop, like I said, my midfield next week is going to be Son, Salah, Grealish, De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes. And the sacrifice I have to make is Robbo and Vardy. And I personally think Robbo and Vardy going out, that allows me to have Salah, and then I'll just have Callum Wilson when I compare those players together. Trent is back in training, okay, but equally, again, I do love the potential. And like I said, I got rid of Trent when he got injured, right? So I had the double Liverpool defence. We talked about earlier about Jota covering Mo Salah. I tried to cover Mo Salah with Robbo, with Trent, and it massively backfired. And I genuinely still stand by that decision. I still stand by the fact that the double Liverpool defence at the start of the season was a good option. We're talking about the 2 players that for 7.2 million, right now, they were fantastic options last year. And most of the year before that as well. They have fantastic potential. Robertson has been great. I would just rather have a cheap defence and have an exciting midfield and attack. I mean, Robbo's up there, 45. And just, this season's been crazy. We all know it's been different. We all know it's been difficult to judge. The amount of penalties, the amount of goals we've seen in games. It just feels like this is not the year for defenders. So if we look at it, defenders are way off the boil. Goalkeepers are even keeping up with defenders. That is the situation we're in right now. Usually goalkeepers are the least important positions in FPL. Hugo Lloris there on 47 matches the third best one. It's just, for me, it's not a year for defenders. You got midfielders getting points all over the place. You got forwards absolutely nailing it this year. Feels like you get a really good value attack. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Antonio, Bamford, Wilson, Adams, Watkins. You get good value, bang for your buck up front. You get smart defenders, even like, say, you get Chilwell, James, Cresswell, and then, you know, Lamptey, Taylor and all that lot. And then you can have a banging midfield with like the top players in Premier League football. That's the way I'm going to be going anyway. Liverpool did not look defensively sound. No, they gave away 2 penalties. Remember, they missed 1 penalty and then gave away another one. And just not trusting that Liverpool defence. No Gomez, no Van Dijk. I just think there's got... And let's not forget, since last season, since they won the Premier League, they have one of the leakiest defences. If not, isn't it the leakiest defence in the Premier League? Just not for me. I don't think it's the way to go. London derby, I think Spurs are going to do him. Spurs are going to do him over. And I did want to do when to jump off players, but I think I'll cover that next week because I need to jump off now, actually. So what am I going to be doing? Probably rolling my transfer, taking the risk. I'll take those. I'll probably, even on Saturday night, I might make those transfers just in case I don't want to miss any price rises or price drops or anything like that. So I'm probably just going to roll with this team. Grealish will probably go out for Lamptey because obviously he's not playing. Taylor will probably come on for Cancelo because Cancelo's probably not going to play, unfortunately, home to Fulham. But yeah, this is... and Kevin De Bruyne is going to take my captaincy. Jamie Vardy is going to be my vice. Actually, if I go off this, you'll be able to see it like this. There we go. Isn't that nice? Yeah, have a great weekend, guys. Hope we're going to get green arrows with 3.5 million in the world. Come on, please. I need to start getting into some kind of respectful rank because this is outrageous. Quick check on that. Thoughts on J-Rod? Good player. I would keep him for Burnley and then sell. Cheaper attacking defense seems better. James Lamptey Justin. Yes, I agree. Will you think Kane will start? Yes, Jerry, I think he starts. Thanks very much, Neil. You're set for a red arrow. Best case, 10 players work as 8. 2 transfers next week. I like it. Seems if Cancelo starts and people have done the hokey cokey, I would love it. Harshit, good luck. Thank you. Kevin De Points. Yes, let's call him Kevin De Points. Ask where I will play and James will be benched. Epics with some crazy shouts there. Any news about Robertson and Maupay's injuries? No, probably check out Fantasy Football Scout later on with Neil giving the information about that. Any mid-season predictions for top 4 and relegation now? I still think Fulham and West Brom will go down. Third place, not too sure. I think Spurs will finish top 4. I don't think they'll win the league. I think it'll be City or Liverpool. I still think they're the best in the league. Would love to Cancelo to start, me as well. Good luck, everyone. Hope you have a great game week. Video will be out next game week and stream on Friday as well. Good luck, guys. And yeah, catch you all soon. Bye.